I'm not Pressley by chance. I'm not Pressley by mistake. I am Pressley on purpose. I'm not Pressley by chance. I'm not Pressley by mistake. I am Pressley on purpose. And this episode of Pressley on Purpose is brought to you by Queens Royale, my lifestyle brand for women and men who wear confidence out loud every single day. So, hey, y'all, it's your girl, Adyna K. Pressley, and welcome to Pressley on Purpose. Listen, y'all already know this is not the buttoned up CEO version of me. This is the real me, the healed but still human me, the sister friend and that good girlfriend version of me, the funny, around the way girl, big sister who done lived some ish me. And here we talk about the stuff I generally don't post, the moments that break you, the moments that build you, and the moments that lead you towards the healed version of you. So every week, we're getting into purpose, reinvention, boundaries, healing, and choosing yourself loudly, boldly, and without apology. So get your good going tea, get honest, get ready, get comfortable, because we're rising and we are rising on purpose. So, hey guys, thank you for showing up and joining me on Pressley on Purpose. And today's episode, I think I want to take it to a place where, and this is something I don't think I've ever talked about. I want to support my sisters who have experienced a miscarriage. I unfortunately had experienced one the year before Tati was born. And the interesting thing about that was I didn't realize how it affected me until I witnessed the birth of my goddaughter. And when the miscarriage happened, of course, I was devastated. And I remember saying, but everything happens for a reason. God makes no mistakes. And I went with that. And I tried to play the strong one. I never really grieved the process. So I remember it happening. I went through my feelings about it. And then I was like, okay, I just got to move on. And when the time is right, it's going to happen. At the same time, I was pregnant with two of my very good friends. And so we were all expecting to have our babies at the same time. So one of my girlfriends, her baby was due in February. Mine was due in March, I think it was. And then my other girlfriend, her baby was due in December. So it was like, okay, we're going to have our babies together and they're going to grow up together and yada, yada, yada. We was excited. And then when I had the miscarriage, I didn't want to tell my girlfriend who was due to have her baby in February because I didn't want to ruin it for her. I wanted her to be happy and her to go through her pregnancy. So I never said anything. And when my goddaughter was born, the first thing I did was run to the hospital so I could go see her. And I was excited. And I'm like, oh my God, she's beautiful, whatever, whatever. And, I genuinely was happy. I went home, everything was fine. But I didn't realize that internally that did something to me and I didn't know it. So I failed to realize that also too. I was married at the time and my ex-husband, his cousin's wife was also pregnant at the same time and she was having a baby at the same time we all were. So yeah, it was a busy year that year. But anywho, so her baby shower was coming up. And I guess, again, me subconsciously not realizing how the birth of my goddaughter affected me because, again, it didn't show on the outside. I didn't have a desire to want to go to her shower. And he says to me, well, why you don't want to go to her shower? You just went to see your goddaughter in the hospital and he's pressing me and I just lost it. And I think that's when I really realized that it really did affect me, even though I tried to put up this wall and I tried to block it out. Like, it's not that bad. It's something that happens. I'll get over it. And I started crying and I was like, I don't want to go. I lost my baby. And that's when it hit me. I was like, it really hit me like I lost my baby. I did not have my baby anymore. My baby wasn't going to be here. And I remember crying to him and I'm saying, I want us to try again. I want us to start over. I just cried and I cried and I cried, but I felt like that cry was necessary because I never got it out. I was holding on to it for weeks and weeks and weeks without actually facing it. And when I finally did release that stress, I let out that grief, I let out that cry. That's when I was able to be able to start my healing process. Now I was able to heal because I accepted it. Again, at the time, I really didn't accept it. My personality has always been, when something happens to me, something bad happens to me, I accept it for what it is at that moment. And then I'm like, I got to move on. I got other things I got to do. And I'm just going to push it behind me. I'm going to put it in the back of me. And I'm just going to keep pushing forward. And sometimes that's good for certain situations, but not all. And that's when I really realized that it wasn't good in that particular situation because I lost a child. I lost something that I created. I lost something that was growing inside of me. And I tried to block my feelings behind it. I really tried to shut my feelings down and I really tried to not face it. But again, once I did let out that cry, and when I say that was a cry that I don't think I've ever experienced in my life, it was so therapeutic because it was so needed and I needed to get it out. And then I needed to address the fact, okay, I'm not okay with the loss of my child and I do want to try again. So fast forward, God is good. I did wind up getting pregnant the following year. And and I don't even think it was the following year, probably months later, because that's how I really felt that I really wanted my baby. But I said to myself, this baby wasn't supposed to be here. The baby that I have now is supposed to be here. And that's when Tatiana was born. And I always say to her, she's rough around the edges like me. Not rough around it, she's just real stern like me sometimes. And she can be a little emotionless. I love her dearly, but she can. And but I always said to her, you were supposed to be here. You were supposed to be here. And as I've gotten older and I've having my children and raising my children, that's when I started to realize it. Tone, my oldest daughter, she was always meant to be here. She was the legacy of her father. God bless the dead. So she was his legacy. He left her behind for me to live on for him. And just so you guys know, for full disclosure, my oldest daughter's father was killed when I was pregnant. Um, so he never even got to see her being born. But I felt like that was his gift to me, to leave her to me before he left this earth. So I feel, as far as my children is concerned, they were meant to be here. God wanted them to be here. And if it weren't for them, I wouldn't be the woman that I am today without them. So Tone was supposed to be here and Tati was supposed to be here. And even though I felt so terrible when I lost my rainbow baby, no, I think Tati's my rainbow baby. What is that? I gotta look that up. Rainbow baby. I think the loss of a baby is a rainbow baby. If I'm wrong, correct me, please. Um, but I always felt like my children were supposed to be here. So unfortunately, my rainbow baby wasn't meant to be here at that time. And I'm always going to forever remember that baby and have a special place in my heart for that baby. But I know for a fact that Tati was supposed to be here. She was supposed to be here. And when I think of it in hindsight, I'm thankful to God because I'm like, God, you knew what you was doing. You knew what was the path for me as far as my children were concerned, as far as my daughters were concerned. And one of the blessings of me having the two of them is I get the opportunity to grow with them and turn our mother daughter relationship into more of a friendship. I'm always going to be mom. I'm always going to be their mommy. But to be able to have an adult relationship with them, it's so rewarding. So I say that to say that We may not necessarily know why we experience a miscarriage. I know it is extremely tough, and I know how extremely tough it is for those who are trying to conceive naturally, and even those who are trying to conceive through IVF. And I've had some friends who've been through that process, and it's, for some it's been difficult, for some it's been great. I had one friend who wound up having triplets, and then 2 years later wound up conceiving naturally on her own. So, I know everybody has different struggles when it comes to conceiving, but I also want to say this: be encouraged. Be encouraged regardless of what direction you're in, or what avenue or road you have to take to get to motherhood. But I'm going to just speak from me. For me, I just felt like that was my road. That was what God had in store for me. And even though I was blessed enough to be able to conceive afterwards, because again, I wasn't even sure what that was going to look like. I was high risk when I had Tati. I had a couple of scares with her as well, and honestly felt in my heart that she was supposed to be here. And again, I speak from me that I'm just grateful. And I also, too, want to encourage women who are going through the process of conceiving. I just ask that you stay encouraged. And that is my episode for today on Pressley on Purpose. And I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be vulnerable in this space and talk about this, because I've actually never even talked about it. I don't even think I talked about it in my book. No, I didn't even talk about it in my book. So, and there's so many other things that I've experienced. I think if I did really write my book based on everything that's gone on in my life, it'd probably be about 3,000 pages. And those of you that know me know I have a short attention span. So I try to get to the point, and I try to address things that I feel are necessary. But yeah, this was something that I never shared, and I felt it in my spirit today to share it. And again, I just want to let every mother to be, or any woman that is in the process of trying to conceive, to just stay encouraged. Just stay encouraged. So again, that's today's episode, and I just want to say thank you. And this episode of Pressley on Purpose is brought to you by Queens Royale, my lifestyle clothing brand for both men and women that want to wear their crown. Thank you so much for allowing me to share this intimate part of my story. And if there's anything that resonated with you, please like, please share, please subscribe. And thank you so much. Have a good night. One.
I'm not Pressley by chance. I'm not Pressley by mistake. I am Pressley on purpose.